What's up, everyone? Welcome to Screen Smash, CouchSoup's video game podcast that's unfiltered and unapologetic most of the time. We try. Anyways, joining me tonight, we have Maria Kinnan,
Hello.
Louis Reza.
Oh, Doug.
Oh, okay. And joining us, we have a special guest. We have Mr. Baron Jones from LV1 Gaming. Hello, Baron.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Look, I feel like I should do like my whole actually what we're gonna do is we're getting ready to talk video games. Let's do it, guys.
Let's go, kids. Like Lamar Burton? LeVar Burton? We're going to talk video games tonight, children. Let's go.
That sounds great. Come on.
Anywho, to get us started tonight, we're going to get to know Baron a little bit. So, Baron, I'm going to put you on the spotlight. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
Yeah, so I am Baron Jones. I go by Baron J67. So yes, my real name is Baron. That is a thing. People are like, oh, so what's your name? And I'm like, oh, it's Baron. They're like, no, your real name. And I'm like, it's Baron. But it's I know it's more of a title, but it is my name. But yes, so I am Baron J67. I'm the communications director over at LV1 Gaming. We are a Black-owned, minority-operated gaming news site, and everything from reviews to news and everything in between. That's what we talk about. Heck, side note, one of our most popular articles is about what white shoes you can wear other than Air Force Ones. And it's month in, month out, our most popular article. Nothing has yet to top it. Don't ask why. It just happens. So what makes LV1, right? Because obviously that's not an odd name, but it's different.
As a gamer, I totally get it, honestly. So
okay, so I forgot we're on a gaming podcast, so we're talking. So everybody,
wait, hold on. This is the gaming podcast, right? So
shit.
Maria, you play games, don't you?
Fuck no.
But yeah, it's a great place to start. Like that's our whole get down, and our whole thing is giving people a place to start. So yeah, communications director. Obviously, I talk a lot. Please have a stop button if I rant a little too much.
Gotcha.
I would be used already if it was a thing with me. Don't worry. Yeah.
All good. It's all good. But yeah, I totally get the LV1 gaming thing, and like just the way you're explaining it to me, it strikes as like you're giving people kind of like a safe place of like everyone starts somewhere. Everyone's a level 1 to start, and that hits home with me with a lot of like how I talk to other people about gaming, because some people get this weird anxiety of like, oh, I gotta be good. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're good or not. Just have fun. That's what it's all about. Just have fun.
And that's our core. That is what makes us, everybody's like, well, what makes you different than any other site? It's like we stand 10 toes down on the idea that, hey, where everybody else says no, if you really want to get into the games journalism, or whether it's content creating overall, we definitely have projects and stuff for you to work on. Of course, you build up your rapport with us. We'll hand you reviews. I mean, recently I just handed off Wild Hearts and Wanted Dead. I know we were talking about that earlier before we went live. So, and I know for me, I was just a random off the street, some guy on Twitter, and LV1 took me in with open arms, and now I'm the communications director. Somebody save me. Please. No, I just wanted to write
in trouble.
I just wanted to write one article a week. That's all I wanted to do.
In a similar sort of way, I kind of just forced my way in. I'm
still sore over that, Dan. Still sore.
Maria,
way too many words that you guys don't want to put together, guys.
You told me not to include you. No, but I was saying more of like I created a podcast and used that podcast as kind of my springboard into doing this now, as well as now we here, Maria, Louis, and my fellow Screen Smash compadres. We all contribute to CouchSoup.com and either write, do reviews, make videos, make different content. And we're doing this gaming podcast. CouchSoup itself is not specifically focused on gaming, but there's a lot. There's a lot of gaming. So it's a lot of the same kind of stuff that you guys do over there at LV1, which I actually really appreciate what you guys do over there. And I looked into it. I was like, oh, yeah, like they got kind of like the same thing going on there. I dig it.
Yeah, it definitely is. I watched some of the videos and I'm like, yeah, I can see this. It's like a little parallel.
Right? You gotta have fun. You gotta have fun because it's a lot of work, folks out there in the world, in Twitch land. It's a lot of work. Believe me, you think we sit around and play games all day? I promise you.
And does.
I'm joking. Look, what happened?
I feel lucky if I get to play a game for maybe a few hours each day, if that.
Do you get that guilt of like, I'm playing this game for like 2 or 3 hours and I know there's an article or something I should be working on?
Yeah, that's why I don't play games.
As soon as you said guilt.
Yeah. It's the and like I started hiding my shame sometimes. Like, hopefully my crew's not listening, but I'll like go offline on Discord and be like,
I'm known for having like 12 things like that. I'm always into like different kinds of stuff, and so, like we'll put together something for like a stream, and I always tell Dan, all right, I'm in, I'm good, it's ready to go, and they're like, I don't see you. All right, wrong username. All right, and then I go back out and then come back in and like a new one. I'm like, but not this one. God damn. Okay, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, hide your shame.
It's a well-known thing that I hide from people openly.
Guys, I'm not here. You know why?
Well, I wanted to bring you in as one of our guests on Screen Smash now because I appreciate what you guys do over there at Level 1. I've been trying to check out your guys' podcast that you do on Wednesdays. You do the Double XP or 2XP?
Yeah, the Double XP podcast. Right. Every Wednesday, it's our flagship show. That is our one show that will happen. And if it doesn't happen, believe me, behind the scenes, there's like some real big drama going on. So that is our flagship show. We bring in guests. It's me, the floor hugger, David or Fame. And then we have Des formerly from Burnout Brighter, and she's currently the media marketing manager. I'm probably giving her more titles than she needs over at Freedom Games. It's right. Just throw it on there, Des. I'm sorry. I know you probably are the media manager over there at Freedom Games, but yeah. And it's just so cool having different perspectives talking about different things in the game. Because for me, even though I'm the communications director, I take things from a general consumer standpoint. Like, hey, I don't care about the Activision Blizzard deal. I just want to know, am I going to have to pay extra for Call of Duty next year or am I not? Like that, that's my stance on it. But then we got somebody who actually works on the back end dealing with development. We got somebody who does art. And then you got Fame who just masterminds, somehow knows everything. And it just works really well. And that is our flagship show. And it's at every Wednesday, 4 p.m. PST.
Nice. I try to catch it as often as I can. Like I said, I really dig what you guys got going on over there. And that's where I was doing getting this show put together and started. And I'm like, I want to start working with and collaborating with other like-minded folks. And you guys were awesome enough to accept my invitation. And now I got you here and I'm super excited. It's already been great talking to you in the pre-show. I know everybody else here is pretty excited. So yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we get into our core topic for the night?
Yes, we are less than 50 followers away on TikTok in order to be streaming on TikTok. Shout out to Fame because he is a TikTok mastermind and we're so close to getting 1,000 followers. So if you guys have TikTok, and it's okay, you don't have to tell everybody you have it, but tiktok.com/LV1 Gaming. Go wherever you see the Phoenix, that's us. And just make sure to hit that follow button and enjoy some content. Get us there so we can go live on there as well.
Sweet.
That actually reminds me is I was curious about the Phoenix as far as how that was chosen as kind of like your guys' official logo.
So once again, everything is about starting from level 1. So I came into Level 1 Gaming once it was already formed. The origin of Level 1 Gaming is Fame, the Floor Hugger, and a few other folks. They all came together from another publication that they all branched away from and decided to create their own, and they wanted to start something new. They wanted to build it from the ground up. So they started from level 1. And then what better way to start from rising from the ashes of nothing? The Phoenix.
I like that. That's a good idea.
I really like that.
Yeah,
right? I'm good. I came up with that on the spot, right? None of that was true. No, I'm just playing. No,
we won't tell anyone.
Bullshit.
You honestly got me for a second. I'm like, are you like, kidding me?
No, that's the truth. That's our origin story.
I had made a similar joke too when it comes from like we retired the old podcast and then started this one, and there was that, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. We're back, that kind of thing. So
boom. But yes, so everything starts from the beginning, level 1, and we're gamers, level 1 gaming.
That's perfect. Cool. Dan, why didn't you think of that?
Good job, Dan.
Because they already had it, Maria. They already.
We'll fight them. There's more of us.
Well, crazy enough, there's that. Okay, so I keep saying level 1 gaming. There is another level 1 gaming. We're LV1 gaming. Like it's. Believe me, there's been a couple of emails.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
We've been there. We've been there. I had
Woo!
probably half a dozen names for the show before we settled on Screen Smash, mostly because all the ones I thought of were already taken. And it's like, all right.
Yeah. Don't you hate when you feel like you're being extra original and then you go and you see in this like that name plus 95 like already? Just, all the steam is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to pat myself on the back, but we also have our own little internal channel called Deadpan Gaming. There's also another Deadpan Gaming on YouTube, but it's like been dead and inactive for years. There's like 2 videos on there, some kids playing Fortnite, but whatever, it is what it is. We're bigger than them now by a lot.
Yeah.
So
take that. Not real Deadpan.
Not real.
Stuff. Yeah.
All based on the fact that I am Deadpan Dan, and that's how the channel got its name.
Yeah.
Charlie Day. All right, moving on.
Oh.
I love visual gags.
Anyway.
Yeah, Louis does visual gags almost every time. We're like, Louis.
He laughed.
You're not below him, Dan. I'm below him.
Wait, so look, I got to glance over at the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the story.
Anyways, the main topic of tonight is going to be Resident Evil.
What's that?
4.
I had to. The way he said fire,
it's like a farmer.
Resident Evil fire. Like,
was it Sea of Thieves?
Don't do that. That's weird. No. They changed it, thank God.
But if you've listened to this show or heard me talking ever in the past, you would know that I myself am a very big Resident Evil fan, and I'm pretty damn excited for Resident Evil 4 Remake. I've gobbled up every Resident Evil game that's ever been made, and I've played every Resident Evil game to death. I really like those games. I know Louis is also a big fan. Maria, I forced to play some Resident Evil before tonight.
I played Resident Evil.
I know.
Played it.
So defensive.
I know that game.
I want to talk about the hype that I have for Resident Evil 4 Remake, because damn, it looks good. And now we've actually been able to play it because they dropped a demo.
They did. And I played it. It's that good.
It's that good that you played it.
Same. I never touch any media before the game comes out, but I know it's gonna be forever since I can't afford anything. So I tried out this demo and god damn, it's so fucking good.
Pretty.
Baron, you gotta drop the truth bomb.
Okay.
This is where it goes wrong.
Yeah, this is where it goes sideways, guys. I haven't played the demo and I've never played Resident Evil 4.
Fuck, why did we
I quit.
Get out.
But I beat 2 Remake. I beat 7. I'm at the end with the helicopter chest man in 8. And I kind of want to play 4 because he has the Hyrule Blade as a knife. It's the Master Sword. Like that thing parries everything. I was like, is he defending against a chainsaw with this butter knife? Oh, he's the chosen one. Okay, no, let's talk about Leon for a second. And I feel like I'm like derailing, and I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Go derail.
Do it. If not, you me.
Can we acknowledge that this man just wanted to clock in at work, and then his whole life just went completely sideways. Like this,
Thank you.
man,
Somebody else said it.
no, it is the most like when you just sit down and look at this Karen haircut man. He was just going to work. He was clocking in. They had a welcome home, a welcome to the job gag for him, where he had to figure out how to get his weapon, but figure out everybody's name. And see, I played it. Look, I played it. I'm telling on myself.
I know things.
I played it. Right. And then all of a sudden, his whole life got derailed, and he's hanging out with the president, and it's like it just completely goes left.
So there is a joke in Resident Evil 4 too that Leon makes, because Luis in Resident Evil 4 calls him a cop, and he's like, for one day. He's like, I was a cop for one day.
Yeah, not even a day. I don't even think he got
I know, does that count as a day?
For work. He wasn't even sworn in yet. He didn't even. I don't even think he got his badge.
Officiated.
Yeah, this dude. Oh, he was acting outside of the law, so he was a criminal the whole Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Boom. We
That was
now
worth it. I
we know.
love that.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
But yes,
So what
I
does that
haven't
make
played
Claire?
Claire is a vigilante
Oh.
for sure.
Yeah, arsonist.
She's like
total criminal.
Batgirl.
Total criminal.
I got hairspray and a lighter. Let's do this.
it.
Here we go. Here we go.
I had to prove that I beat that game to a friend of mine because he didn't believe me, because I run into the whole backlog thing. And he was like, so how did you kill Mr. X? And I was like, oh, with the rocket. And he was like, oh, so you did beat it. Like, I was like,
Every boss in Resident Evil, just shoot him with a rocket.
I shot the shit out of
Baron, pencils down. The test is over. Let's see how you scored.
yeah, it's like, let me know. But yeah, X definitely gave it to me. I got destroyed by that monster the whole game.
And now
Full
my
steam ahead.
mind is only thinking about that song.
Yeah,
That's all I can't sing it for legal purposes, but I
have a lot of memories of playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, and especially when you get to the point where like Mr. X is chasing you and it's terrifying and you can't, like, it's just the most anxiety inducing thing to be in a room and hearing his footsteps stomping around outside. But then you get to the points in the game where he can't follow you and you can do this little dance with him, and it's just like I just start hearing the Benny Hill music, like, and you get him like going back and forth, and he won't go past the threshold of certain rooms. And it's, I don't know, it's, I always thought that was that kind of like goes from terrifying
vampire.
Gaming magic.
Anyways.
Yeah. Ooh. Doors.
The demo was fun.
Yeah, the demo. So let's go ahead and start there. The demo. They put out this chainsaw demo for Resident Evil 4. I have played through it, I think, 6 or 7 times now, because I'm that kind of crazy person that's also played Resident Evil 4 numerous times and owns it for every console. But I killed Chainsaw Man on my second time. I found out the secret about the secret TMP that you can find. And I think there's an extra difficulty, but I figured that out.
Yeah, that apparently that happens randomly. Like it just asks you, do you want to play the hardcore chainsaw mode? And it just comes up randomly. Yeah, I don't know. I never played it, but I saw a stream that did it.
I did. I read an article about that at LV1Gaming.com. But yeah,
shameless plug.
Shameless plug. But yeah, I read that it's like extremely random, and then if you say no, it's not like you'll be offered immediately the next time. Like I heard, it's definitely super random.
Because like I said, I've played through it a couple of times and never came up for me. I was wondering if it depends on like your performance or how much money you collect or how many enemies you kill. I saw no difference in any of those.
No, I think it is random because I was just watching a stream and it was the first time the guy ever played it, and it came up on his first time, and he's like, "I've never played the game before," and he wants me to do hardcore chainsaw mode. So yeah, I think it is just random. Yeah, I think I ran around too much on the demo and I got timed out because they were like, "You're so shit at this game, we don't want you to play it anymore." So
are you talking about when you're in the village and the villagers are chasing you, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I just ran around in circles like Benny Hill, and then
that's how it works.
That's how it was in the original game too.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Because you're supposed to survive that.
Oh, I did that. I just ran around in circles and they couldn't catch me.
Yeah.
Leave it to Maria to find the cheese.
I was just like,
it's literally what was going
ducking.
I felt like it was harder in the remake though, and in the demo, like because the villagers are fucking aggressive in the remake compared to the original.
I do find though that the character moves a lot better. It seems like he's smoother than in the original. I remember Resident Evil 4 being like kind of tank controlly, and you couldn't walk and shoot at the same time.
Nope.
So I used to get killed quite a lot. But with this one, I was able to at least evade the guys, and you can do the like the quick time kind of kill the man sort of thing. So I feel like it's smoother as a game, really. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I actually enjoyed it more than Resident Evil the original because it just felt like there was more natural. But
well, Resident Evil 4 at this point now being a 14, 15-year-old game. It came out originally in 2005 on the GameCube.
Oh, nice and old. It's well seasoned.
Yeah, like it came out in the age when games were just starting to utilize the dual sticks, and it was originally on the GameCube, which didn't technically have two sticks. It did and it didn't. Like, so you don't actually turn your character like with the right stick. It'll move the camera a little bit, but you still have to like turn the character.
You had to.
So was it a twin stick shooter?
Not even.
I had it on the Wii, so I didn't even have that.
Trying to use like motion controls,
just like nunchucking it.
Well, I mean, it's still if it's closer to Resident Evil 5 in its control scheme. Like it's not perfect, but it still shows its age. And you move the character like they're still tank control, so it's like you have to push up to make the character walk forward, left to turn left, right to turn right, and it's very chunky and very awkward sometimes to move around, and you can't move and shoot. You have to stop and pop.
So and the ammo was kind of shitty as well.
So it's funny how it sounds like it wasn't as big of a leap from Resident Evil 1 and 2 that I thought it was. Like it is from the sound, because once again, I haven't played, but I do remember running down the halls and then trying to turn, pow, pow, pow. Like,
well, Resident Evil 4 was the first one to put the behind the shoulder camera. Yes. Everyone before that was the fixed camera angles that watched you walk around the room and stuff. So it was a big departure at that time.
Yeah, this was the first time that you actually had like where you actually felt that you were part in the 3D world. I mean, other ones, like, you know, definitely they had like that 3D aspect, but this was like it just followed you the whole time, and it gave you a lot more dynamic for what was happening in front of you, but it still crept up on you from behind. So because you had to stop and shoot, it would still have that feeling of overwhelming nature, because you had to be weary of everything around you, but it still took time to turn around. And so a lot of people are bitching about how now that you can move and shoot at the same time, it's so much easier. I'm like, play it.
Nope, but they compensate for that with the aggressive enemies, though.
They compensate completely. I was so damn overwhelmed. Like, I was genuinely yelling, trying to get out of there.
Here's a big point that I want to stress, too. In the old Resident Evil 4, anytime you get into one of those scenarios like the village in the beginning where you're being swarmed by enemies, there was such an easy cop out to like get away from them by like you go in the building, you go upstairs and you jump out a window and you give yourself a lot of breathing room. You can't do that in the new one.
I tried so hard.
I actually tried it where I jumped out the window and I landed in the middle of a horde and I couldn't move and I got beaten to death. And I was like, okay, that didn't work.
I kind of ran back where I came from, and so they all bottlenecked into like a smaller area, so I could shoot them one at a time.
Split though, I've seen them do that. Where if you try to get squirrely like that, they will circumvent, and they'll come from both sides.
The headshot is not quite as accurate as it should be. Like you can't shoot it. The headshot is not a one kill thing. So I'm just like, really?
Okay, so when it came to Resident Evil games, it took me a very long time to really internalize that I'm not really fighting zombies. I'm fighting super soldiers. And because it bothered me, I'm like, bro, I just hit this thing with a shotgun shell to the face. Why is it not dead? And it's like, oh, because it has this ever regenerating thing inside of it that's taken over it, and it's and yeah. So
I prefer that because zombie suck and it's a stupid concept. So I prefer that it's more of a super soldier thing anyway, because I hate zombies. And
I know for me, and I'm sure Louis might agree on this, one of my personal favorite things from the old Resident Evils, like Resident Evil 1 and 2, especially in 2, you could do the thing where you cock the shotgun up in the air, you wait till the zombie gets right in front of it, you pull the trigger, and you just watch like it's just instant. The head just pops.
That was so cool.
I loved it.
Ooh.
Baron's
Yeah.
like,
And then when you get the parts to make the super shotgun, you don't need to do that. You just shoot them dead on, and you just see guts flying everywhere. I was like, oh yeah, screw you and your whole family.
You get that too a little bit in the remake. I love when you get like the head pop in the remake, and like their head doesn't just explode; it'll like dangle and like
squishy.
It kind of reminded me of, this is going to sound stupid because it's set in a village, but it reminded me of a third-person version of Resident Evil The Village. You know, because it seems that the village is very similar looking from the one in Village. And so I wonder if they used like the same assets from Resident Evil Village for this game, because the demo is gorgeous. And it reminded me of that, walking around that, you know, that village and stuff. And so it's like I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of Resident Evil Village. So yeah, cool. I liked it.
Is the fear factor still there? Because like, okay, for me, I want to say my first like Resident Evil that I fully played through was 7. I want to say 7 was my first one. That going from first person horror like in your face to back to action shooter horror, is it just as scary?
I think it departs it from the scary a little bit because you're not in there. You're not like first person. I find it does take you away from it because I feel with like first person, it's like it's happening to you, but when it's a third person, it's happening to the character. So I think that's maybe a little bit different. I don't know. I don't get scared of horror things because I'm not a pussy.
Oh, I am. Meow.
Offend everybody that you can, Maria. That's fine.
And that's going to get kept on Twitter.
It's fine. It's fine. She's originally British. It's
when
fine.
I have to make clips for the show. I personally, as a longtime fan of this series, I have no problem being outside of the first person. I actually prefer third person because I grew up with Resident Evil. I grew up with Resident Evil 1 and 2. I love those games, even as terrible as they are. I love them for being terrible. And when they went first person, I was like, oh, no, I don't like that. But then I played Resident Evil 7. I was like, oh, this is good. It's different, but it's good. I like it for that. And this is actually a big chunk of the conversation I was hoping to get into is how the series, the franchise has evolved over the years, especially with that separation that they've done now. Where with 7, they were like, we're going to try this new thing. We're going to go first person. The gameplay is going to be a little different. The storytelling is going to be a little different. But then with the remakes, they kind of like, let's keep it tight and classic to like that Resident Evil 4 formula, which had the perfect blend of horror and action. And I can say right now, for me in the demo with Resident Evil 4 so far, I still feel like it's pretty damn terrifying because of the aggressiveness of the enemies. When that chainsaw guy is barreling down on you and you get a villager grabs you and they pin you and he's coming at you going, and I'm like, fuck, you know, like trying to break out. Like, that's pretty scary still.
It's horrifying.
Not really.
Regardless of whether I'm in first person or not. So,
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Like that's what I was talking about, like that overwhelming nature that before they knew that the technology that they had at the time, they couldn't, there was only so much that they could do with a horror. So like everybody now knows that it gets kind of outlandish and all that kind of stuff. And like in the original game, I hope they don't do this again, but I like the camp. I love it. And I'm glad that they kept a lot of the camp in this because Leon says a few things that are good. I'll let myself out. Yes, I love it. But anyway, like there's a giant statue that comes to life and starts walking after you in this little castle, which is outlandish and crazy, but at the time hadn't been seen before. So when Resident Evil 4 first came out, 80 years ago, it was scary as hell. Even if it was weird and different, it was still scary. And I think a lot of people kind of take advantage of the fact that well, now it's not that scary because you're super soldier Leon who could do backflips and pile drives all these people. It wasn't that at the time. I don't know. I just thought that it's great that they're holding on to certain aspects of it that still want to implement that horror as well. And so like when I'm watching it and when I'm playing it, I got all those feelings again. Granted, I mean, it's so closely related to the original that I kind of, I'm a little bit like, okay, so it's not that different, but it's different enough that I'm not entirely sure what I'm getting myself into. I'm not entirely sure what the outcome is going to be. Like, I know where it's going to go. I just don't know if I'm going to survive it this time. And I played it 1,000 times. I played it in VR. I played it all over the place. And now I'm again going, all right, this is pretty damn good. This is pretty good.
This is a question I wanted to bring up too, because Baron, you asked about the difference between the horror when it's first person versus third person. Louis, you've played Resident Evil 4 in VR, which is first person.
First person. Yeah.
The game itself is third person, but you've played the VR version. So how would you answer that question as the scare factor?
It's way more immersive, honestly, to be in first person. Yes, and in VR, it's not perfect because when Leon does his spinning kicks and pile drivers, it does pull you out so that you're watching it on a big screen, and then it goes right back in. So that way you get the full sense. It does kind of break the immersion a little bit, but it doesn't really take you so far out of the action that you don't it's hard to get back in. But even with the cartoony graphics, even with them looking more like Pixar than they do Resident Evil, it still is much more terrifying when you're literally there. But then again, when you're playing like on a screen and you got the controller, there's not so much dynamic than when you're actually seeing your hands when you go like this. So that part of it too is way more terrifying. Because you turn around and you see this Pixar-looking fucker coming at you. It's like, he's right there. Like there's been a couple times where I turned and saw something I wasn't prepared to see, and I literally screamed. And that there's nothing beats being in an actual VR that is built for VR. Because I've been playing a lot of these ones that are like you can play Resident Evil 2 Remake in VR, and you can have the hands and everything, but it's still not perfect because it wasn't made for that. You're just doing that stuff. Yeah. But man, nothing compares to playing it when it's made for the VR. If you get the chance, dear God Almighty, play it.
Sounds great.
I'm just so scared.
Well,
so scared.
That was one of the
scary games. I love them.
Oh yeah, Dan and I are always going off about that.
No, well, this is the thing, right? Like, I've been told that I've beaten one of the scariest ones. Like 7 was definitely, like, I've heard people say it's up there in the fear factor.
That's my favorite one. Yeah,
big time.
I love that moment, and it happens in all the Resident Evils, at least all the ones I've played, where you're just combating evil. Like you're in a room with me. That's
kind of how I felt after I beat Resident Evil Village the first time, because like all of the first playthrough of Resident Evil Village is like fuck, I gotta live. Yeah. And then after you beat it and you start the game again, and you're like, now you're just mowing everything down, and you're like, like stay out of my way, motherfucker.
It turns into a different game.
It becomes a power fantasy instead of a struggle to survive.
You see, that's the feeling that I get. I think that people miss out when they play 4. Or just because of pop culture osmosis, we tend to forget that 4, if you've never played it before, if you've never heard of it, if you play 4 for the first time, it's pretty damn scary. And then the second time, like, oh, here's where the rock comes. All I got to do is just run. Like, yeah, now it's fun and it's everything like that. But the first time, your first initiation is terrifying. And most games are like that.
I will never, ever forget the first time that fucking dude with the chainsaw came out. And the first time he caught me, and I watched him just whoop, and just Leon's head just shoots up and spouts blood everywhere. And I'm like I was a kid at the time when that happened. And I was like, he just cut my head off.
Yeah. I put down the controller for a second. I was like, I don't like this.
That was like getting eaten by the shark in Resident Evil 1 the first time. Like, what? Wait, where?
I mean, it's just like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, I love horror stuff, but I remember the first zombie you see in Resident Evil 1. You walk down that corridor and he does
that turn.
I was like, because that was the first time there was graphics.
He's like all janky, like.
Yeah, he's blood around his mouth, and you're just like, oh no. That was the first point I was like, I don't want to see that. I'm not going to see that. But yeah, since then I've been hardcore. But yeah, no, I love like 7. I love because I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe from the first part of the game. The first half of that game is great. When the people start turning into the cheese monsters, I'm just kind of like, okay, this is Resident Evil. But the first part, I'm just like, yeah.
I did love Resident Evil 7, but my biggest struggle with it as a fan was that there weren't any real monsters. There wasn't any zombies outside of like the fungus monsters, and I'm like, I'm tired of killing these funguses. Like,
yeah,
give me something else.
Yeah,
like give me something else.
I used to cheese people because I was like, they all smell like really bad cheese.
What threw me off about that whole scenario was the entire time, at least the first couple hours, I was like, there's no way I would have been caught up in this situation. Like there's just no way. You see your girl's purse in a barbecue pit. You're in the middle of nowhere.
That's that horror movie logic that you just gotta like
I was
you
like,
do not exist.
What are we doing? Like the whole time I was just like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go inside. No.
I get like that all the time.
You sound like my girlfriend the first time I tried to make her play Resident Evil 2 Remake, and there's that scene where like you got to climb under the gate, and he's like climbing through the blood.
That's what I was gonna say is the scariest part. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, my girlfriend was just like, nope, and she put the controller down.
Yeah, nope.
Well, there's actually like, I actually had a part like that in the actual demo I was playing, because you're walking around with your little butter knife, buttering zombies and shit. And I'm just like, there is a pitchfork right there. Pick that fucker up and stab him with it. There is a shovel. There's a pitchfork. Why are we using this?
Get some range.
It still pisses me off that he doesn't go Doom guy after killing the chainsaw guy and just picking it up. I'm like, here we go. Yeah. Like at least in 7, like they clearly show that it's broken, so he has to toss it away. Yeah. But like for me, I have to say the scariest thing in most games that I've ever played to this day is 8, the baby.
The baby.
Oh, the baby.
The baby.
That thing is some birth control right there.
I hate this dude. I still play that game. What's so genius about it, what is so perfect about it, is that you can still be a badass. I have all the like infinite ammo guns. Nothing's gonna touch me. It doesn't matter there. It completely negates everything for you. It's creepy. Like no matter how much you do in this game, this is the equalizer.
You're not safe.
Oh god!
It always gives me flashbacks of Max Payne. I'm like, no.
The crying baby, yeah, it's like, no. Yeah.
Sorry to bring it up, everybody, but you're welcome.
That's great, though. This actually makes me want to lead into one of the other points that I want to get into, and that is the revitalization of Capcom games. That we saw in the last 5 to 6 years, starting I think with Resident Evil 2 Remake, because for a long time I was very disappointed with Capcom. Like I felt like Capcom was kind of dropping the ball on a lot of their big franchises, and like things just weren't going well, or they were outsourcing their games to other companies. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, Capcom? Why? And then they dropped Resident Evil 2 Remake, and then they dropped Devil May Cry 5, and they were brilliant, and they were made by Capcom, and they're good. And it's like, holy shit. Not to mention Resident Evil 2 Remake, in my opinion, is one of the best remakes ever made, on next to Resident Evil 1 Remake, which was also very good. And that was 10 years prior. Like Capcom's remake formula is like top tier.
Yeah, I agree. Like they really are just like they're sticking with the formula that the fans like, but they're bringing it into they're taking away the stuff that's dated that wouldn't really pass now, and have actually put like a twist to it. So you're like, it's a new game, and like each time we're saying how scary it was playing these games for the first time. Now with these remakes, you're playing it again for the first time, but you know the game, but you don't know the game. So that's what's kind of is giving that kind of fresh feeling, like a virgin.
You know what makes me happy about it is it gives me hope for a lot of other games that I would love to see remade, because they're showing the success. They're showing that there's money to be made, because we know these are companies and it's got to be a money thing. there's money clearly here in, I mean, look how many times people have bought Resident Evil 4. Think about the fact that they could redo Resident Evil 2 in first person like a 7 style.
Oh yeah.
And people would buy it and it would do just as well. Like it really would. It'd be horrifying.
I mean, they did the DLC for 8 that added third person to the game. So you could play through 8 in third person.
You could just go and do the same thing to all your games, repackage it, and people are going to buy it. And it's funny because it's not a cash grab. Like these don't feel like cash grabs. No. And that's what makes it enjoyable. I don't feel like I'm being suckered or I'm being screwed over. Like, no, it's like you're putting effort in, you're taking a classic experience, you're bringing it to new life. And I just hope that somebody does this with the Getaway.
The PS2 Getaway?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Oh yeah. I need somebody to go and just show that game some love. That was what I loved about it. What I loved about it so much, and this is completely off topic, and I'm so sorry, was the fact that it did not hold your hand. You didn't have a health meter. You didn't have a map directional. Like you had to pay attention to the environment. Your car blinker would go the direction you need to turn.
I remember that.
When you got hit so many times, you would walk a certain way. You'd be dragging your leg, like swinging a rifle, like as you're like bleeding down the street. It was just amazing. And I know Marky Boy, like I just know it would do great, like getting the Capcom treatment. Even though I know, if I'm not mistaken, Capcom has nothing to do with that game.
Hey, Capcom, pick this one up real quick.
Please, go get the IP.
Well, that's the thing. We've had this discussion between remakes and remasters and stuff. And so this is a remake. You know, these Resident Evil games are remade for the new audiences. It's not just here's a whole game. Squeak, 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 squeak. $70.
Right? Here's some cell shading. Let's make it pretty.
Yeah, don't be Rockstar and just like, that technology is going to do great on this new. But I do want to piggyback on something that you said that I find very interesting. That that it doesn't feel like a cash grab, you know. But the thing is, for me, I kind of want to say that if this is what happens when you listen to the audience, this is what happens when we go, we don't want that. And then you go, oh, okay, what about this? So it's giving me more hope that these people that are getting all the money, if you're going to have the money, at least use it well, for God's sake, please. Yeah. Because these games shouldn't exist, to be honest, with how crappy a direction they took them. And I liked the cheese. I liked 6. Dan and I had talked about this for hours, how much we actually enjoy 6. I played
a lot of 6.
I've played it like 4 times. You know what else I like to play,
and I'm still playing, and I was playing the other day? Operation Raccoon City.
Ooh.
I still play it. Was playing it the other night.
That was the multiplayer shooter one, right?
It's a cooperative squad-based team shooter.
Yeah,
it's still fun. It's still a good zombie shooter game. It says like very little to actually do with Resident Evil, but it's a fun game. It got way more flack than I think it should have.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is just that we deserve to get the games that we are asking for.
Cough, cough. It's on sale now through the Capcom sale, and it was like $5. So that's why I'm playing it again.
Yeah, I mean, and it's what Louis is saying is like, if you listen to the fans, then it's going to end up best in, like, I know it's not a game, but you know, the Last of Us TV show. It's proof to say, listen to the fans. People go, yeah, but we don't want a remake. Yes, we fucking do.
Yeah.
Stop taking our shit and spinning it and then making it something that's completely not. We like what we like for a reason. Give us what we want. Preach.
My favorite.
Preach yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Go, Maria.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
You know who's right? This one.
Clip me.
Man, I truly, I love watching good things be praised and get the success. I got a funny feeling I'm going to end up playing Resident Evil 4. I got a funny feeling I'm going to sweat my way through it until I get like the powerful shotgun. And okay, I always make the mistake of like holding on to items and then like, oh, I'll save it for that one moment. And then that one moment just never comes, and all of a sudden the credits are rolling, and I held like, why didn't you just use the Magnum? Like, I thought I was gonna need the bullet for the final boss. Like,
the beautiful thing about Resident Evil 4 is the attaché case. It makes it really hard to hang on to shit because you run out of space. You can only carry it so much.
Yeah.
Well, you'll shoot those bullets, I promise. Like, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Like as an older gamer, I guess you could say, I learned that too, because it was way more obvious back in the day when you were getting to a boss fight. Like it's super obvious now still, yeah. But then like for example, we were talking about Breath of the Wild. It's very easy to just walk into like, oh look, an open field, and then now you're in a boss battle.
All of a sudden, Latin
because
music.
everything. Yeah, yes.
All I have is a wood stick.
Every time there's a cutscene in that game, I get a little more paranoid about just moving around. I'm like, no. So like I totally understand where you're coming from. That I definitely, okay, this elixir that is going to, give me back all of my magic and all of my life. I need to save all 52 of them because I'm going to need all of them for the boss. Because obviously, every time he hits me, I'm going to have to use one. And then you get to the final boss, it's like, oh yeah, but I have magic armor, and I automatically. Damn it! I could have. I totally understand the frustration.
You kind of knew when a boss was coming up in Resident Evil, because you'd find like grenades in random places.
Oh yeah.
You'd open the fridge and there'd be rocket launcher in there, and you're like, is there a boss coming?
So I'm in danger.
Here's my tip on that too. If you remember, Resident Evil 2 Remake started a thing where they actually have an AI built into the game that makes it so that you never have enough ammo. It's specifically programmed into the game that no matter what, you're always going to be running short. The game is built around that, so that certain enemies will take more or less damage based on how many bullets you have. And they're going to keep doing that.
I don't like that though.
And that's what I was going to ask about 4, because it definitely seems more. It looks like it leans heavier towards action game. Is there a surplus? Are you always in need? Is it?
It's hard to say since the game hasn't come out yet. But
in the demo, there you go. I'm sorry, in the demo.
I think they are still maintaining some level of that. They want you to feel pressure. They want you to feel like you're just getting by with just enough. And I feel like that happened in the demo to some varying degrees, depending. Like I did multiple playthroughs, and each time felt a little different. Each time felt a little bit more chaotic or less chaotic, or I was burning through ammo faster or slower on each playthrough. And then again, there's environmental things you can take advantage of. There's like the cow that you can set on fire, and the cow runs around stampeding dudes. I know it's a little mean, but every bullet counts. So then you can go into the building where you can barricade the door. It gives you a little breathing room. You can go into the tower. The tower was close to one of my best friends because I would just stand up there and wait for them to come with the ladder and just bang, bang, bang. So
do you think we're going to be dealing with like a world seed type thing, like, or a game seed where it's like, oh no, bro, if you seen that plant in the right window when you first started, reset the game. Like you're getting hard mode. Like, because from hearing what you're describing, it sounds like you're getting a different experience.
I think that's just to some very small degree. I don't think it's gonna be as deep as that.
But I mean, we've seen it happen. Like that. I think that'd be interesting, especially for content creation's sake.
I think they're gonna do a couple of things. I think they're gonna take a lot of what they did with Resident Evil 2 and Village and kind of mash them together. That's what I'm getting from my experience with the demo so far. Is it feels like they're taking the best of both. I assume Resident Evil 4 will have multiple difficulty levels, just like Village had. It's going to have a lot of perks for beating the game and unlocking rewards, and basically doing that flip of the second time, the third time you play, it's going to be more of a power fantasy. So you're going to be like going nuts, mowing down dudes with, I
do like those moments though. Yeah. The end of Village, when you're Chris with a gun and you just Call of Duty that shit all the way through the village and you're just wasting things.
Oh, not even that. My experience was I suffered, Louis did too, on that opening sequence in Village where you got to survive against that wave of werewolves coming after you.
You did it on hard mode, didn't you?
I did it on hard mode, and it was awful. And Louis also struggled through that. But then on my second playthrough, I had the super shotgun with unlimited ammo. I was just mowing those werewolves down like they were nothing, and I'm like, okay.
Dude, I got to the point where I killed the big guy like immediately. He came out and I'm like, boom. That was all. Yeah. No, there's a video of me.
King? No.
Yeah,
I love that though.
Quite literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so to close us out here, I want to talk about just like whether you're a Resident Evil fan or not, if you're a horror game fan or not. I love what Capcom does with their remakes. They've shown it like time and time again with the Resident Evil 1 remake, Resident Evil 2 remake. Resident Evil 3 is kind of the bastard child on other people's opinions, but I still loved it and appreciated what it was, even though it was a completely different experience from the original game. I liked it for what it was. I liked it for what they did. And that's kind of the magic of what Capcom's been doing. The remakes, even when like 1 and 2, they take the original game and they're like, here you go. This is the original game like you remember it. But maybe you don't remember that there was this other hallway over here that goes this way and gives you a different experience, but it feels like it's been there the whole time. And that's what they do so beautifully.
Yeah.
They incorporate these new elements that weren't there before. And I can't wait to see what they do with Resident Evil 4.
It's the dream when people say, "Oh, I wish I could play that game again for the first time," and they're giving that to you,
and they give it to you.
They do it. They pull it off.
Good,
and they nailed it.
Like I was so looking forward to the. I was so looking forward to the scene in Resident Evil 2 with the crocodile, and it was like completely different from what I expected, but it was still insane. Yes. And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that's not what I was expecting, but that's still pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
And I look forward to a lot of those moments in Resident Evil 4. So
very much looking forward to it.
I'm scared, but I always talk about how I'm not gonna play, and then I always end up playing. Like it's just what happens, and all of a sudden I'm on stream wearing brown pants, and it's a thing.
Make sure to wear your brown pants.
Baron, I'll tell you this. It is one of gaming history's most well seen games for a reason. You're gonna end up playing it just for the sheer enjoyment of having said, I played one of the biggest, like just the best game,
blocking
ever. It is up there with original Legend of Zelda, up there with Mario. Like it is literally
one of the must plays,
one of the must experiences. I wouldn't even say plays. Like play fun, yeah, okay. Must experiences. Like you have to be, especially being a person who hasn't played it before. I am so excited to hear what you have to say about it. Like I want to know what that guy says.
Maybe we can have Baron back on.
Sorry, that guy.
Tell us.
Yeah. Play and come back and talk to me. Go back.
We're gonna put a few hours into the old bad boy.
Hey,
get my knife skills up. Quick question: do you think people who are great at parrying will be able to save all the bullets in the world in this game?
No, because your knives break.
Yeah,
they do. Yes.
Yeah. By the way, don't get comfy.
No, your knives break. Your main knife can take so much damage.
Feelings.
There's actually a secondary knife. There's a kitchen knife you can pick up in the demo, which breaks almost instantly. It's good for like a one time. Yeah, it's hidden with a TMP.
But you can't pick up a pitchfork or a shovel, but you can pick up a knife.
Well, maybe he only knows CQC. Like that's
now,
it.
If they did it like Resident Evil 2 remake, you can unlock a unbreakable knife when you beat the game. That's how they did it in Resident Evil 2.
Oh, Lord,
because it's just like 2. The knife breaks as you use it.
Right. Can I at least do a little shimmy when they're coming to murder me? Like,
you might be able to kick them.
You can make yourself look funny if you want. Just keep crouching and then standing up and crouching and standing up.
Just in danger.
Who are you teabagging, dude?
Like I'm peaceful.
I mean you no harm.
The zombies are like, he's crazy. Get away from him.
They believe I'm one of them.
Just gonna try to like do like the Louis, help me out. Shaun of the Dead, like
yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Great movie.
Oh, right. I think that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to give Baron here a massive, massive thank you and shout out. That was a fantastic show. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Super fun.
It's been a pleasure
Thank you
having
guys
you,
for
sir.
having me. This has been
We want you
awesome.
back. Come back.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4.
One of us.
Yeah, one of us. I'm ready.
Yeah. And anything else, last minute plugs for your stuff, Baron, or where people can find you in level 1?
Yes, so everything LV1 Gaming, so twitter.com/LV1 Gaming. And then on YouTube, it's youtube.com/LV1 Gaming 20, because of course we're plenty of people that take YouTube. And please subscribe. I know it's real hard to hit that sub button. And somebody brought up the point that they should probably change the name because the subscribe button meant subscribe means something totally different nowadays in today's world. So maybe it's like a weird thing of like you're spending money, even though you're not. Like it's just
maybe it should be a follow instead of subscribe.
Just a quick little tweak, and people will probably get more follows and more subscribers. But yes, everywhere LV1 Gaming. Everywhere I want you to find me.
Nice. And I will be sure to include all of those links in all of our descriptions and show notes that you guys will find. But yeah, absolutely fantastic conversations. I'm glad that I was able to just gush about Resident Evil for almost an hour because that's my thing. So thank you, Baron. And of course, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Louis.
No problem.
Fantastic. Yeah, no problem. I got you back.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Put the check in the mail. Put the check in the mail.
Hey, I walk in.
Hey.
And to say goodnight, where's everybody going? Bingo?
Is his name out?
See you next week, guys. That's a line from Resident Evil 4.
It's one of the more famous
sandwich.
cheese lines.